Hey everyone, it's your favorite host, Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show. And today I have an incredible phenom coming to the Gentleman Style Podcast stage. This woman is absolutely incredible. I have coming to the Gentleman Style Podcast stage, Miss Garcia. She is known. She's spoken publicly, privately. She coaches people. She's helping men and women across the globe speak to doing better in dating and relationships. She is token as the dating and relationship expert, and we are blessed to have her on the Gentleman Style Podcast stage. She's a woman who's has a true heart of gold. She tells it like it is on her YouTube channel, on her Instagram. She tells you the topics and she speaks to the topics that we all need to hear. And I have been blessed to snag her for this podcast episode today. And so, without further ado, help me welcome to the stage the incredible, the amazing Miss Garcia.
Thank you so much for such an amazing introduction. Truly an honor to be here. What a pleasure.
It is truly an honor to have you, ma'am. Your resume is extensive, and we needed you to be here. So thank you for sharing time with us. Thank you for making space with us today on the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. You are absolutely necessary. And I want to start with a curveball, right? I want to start with a softball question and get into, when did you notice you had the gift, when you had the touch and you could speak into others' lives and help, that there was trash in the dating pool? This dating thing is not working out well for us. When did you notice that you could speak to and help others in the dating and relationship field?
It was over 10 years ago. I've been studying this for about 20 years straight, in depth and in detail. And I really had my own private practice about 12 years ago. And I realized that, this is something that is my niche. It is my God-given gift. It is my expertise that I've studied at length. And so I've been studying this for 20 years, but my private practice has been for about 12. And now my company is going public.
Woo! Woo! Congratulations. I want to say that is huge. Fantastic. When you say private practice, you mean that your own company is now going to be traded on the stock exchange?
Well, I mean, so let me make that more clear. That's going to happen. But what I'm trying to say now is that we are going global. And so instead of having my private practice where it was based on a small select group of people, we've taken it global. So now we have people in my masterminds and in my coaching company all over the world, in Israel, in California, in LA, in New York. And so we've taken a practice that I had with one-on-one clients and made it accessible essentially to anyone globally. So that is what I mean by that. We've scaled in that length.
Oh, look at that. We got the John Maxwell of dating and relationships, the grand poobah of dating. I love it. I want to start off. So that's powerful. That's huge. And so what would you say? I want to always ask this question when it comes to dating and relationship. What has been your family dynamic? Were your mom and dad still married? Are they still married? What gave you insight to dating and relationships? Was it your own personal experiences and you grew that?
Yeah, so it was my own personal experiences. My parents are no longer married, but what happened was when I was 26 years old, I was dating someone and I was so excited and I got all dressed up and I made him breakfast and he was coming over and I printed out something for us to sit and read at. And it was just like, oh, so I'm so ready. And then he comes in and he's not so excited. And long story short, he tells me he's breaking up with me to go do drugs upstate. And I, at that moment, had a complete shock of, how did I get here? How did I attract this situation? How did I, really allow this to even occur in my life? And so the truth is, I was very, very, very successful on the outside. At that point, I was 26 years old. I had a bachelor's degree, highest honors. I did 2 years pre-PhD. I had already finished my master's, highest honors. I owned a house, a car. I had a job. Everything that American society tells you need to be successful and worthy, I had. But I was so sick in my head because I was still addicted to the highs and lows of a relationship that wasn't actually based in authenticity and predictability. And I needed to really learn what love is, what is codependency, what is addiction, and how do you attract someone who's never going to abandon you. And that was the beginning of another in-depth approach that I took to understand this all deep.
That's significant. That's significant. It speaks to the mindset. I feel like, I think relationships have become this kind of performance base and this performance metrics that people look, okay, check. She has the car. Check. She has the great job. She has the career. She has these, or him, right? Vice versa. What do you feel relationships have become this Olympic gold medal of achievement that we're all striving for?
Yeah, it's not only achievement, it's like, will you love me in the way I haven't learned how to love myself? We're still seeking external approval from other people to believe that we're worthy of love. So it's just chasing the wrong thing. And it's not even in a way that we're chasing it, because if you truly believe you're deserving of love and healthy love, you don't chase it. You know that the right one who wants you will actually want you for who you are, not for how you look or what you do. And that's been lost in society.
Well, okay, okay. I love this. I love this. I love where this is going. So, would you date someone who's not aesthetically appealing? Right? Would any of us do that? I find it hard, right, to say, and it's happening now where men and women are not connecting. We're missing the gap. We're missing that connection. And I don't know, if you're a doctor, and wouldn't a doctor want to be with another doctor? Doesn't that play a role as far as building a future with someone? That doesn't matter.
I mean, you mentioned two things. The one, the attractive level. Yes, you have to be physically attracted to the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with. But physical attraction is not the end all be all to sustainable relationships. And so for women, they have to know that they are deserving of love, not based on how they look, but for who they are. That means you should take care of yourself. But there is a very, very sick, distorted perception, especially in American society, that you constantly have to change your body and the way that you look and make it more beautiful to be worthy of love. And that is just simply not true. So, yeah, you have to be physically attracted to the person that you're going to choose to be with. But the level that it's gotten to in regards to the belief of what you deserve based on that is so highly out of proportionate. And also for men, the same goes as that. Men also have to know that they're deserving of love, not for what they can provide, but for who they are. Because women's looks come and go, our weights fluctuate, men's jobs and money comes and goes. No one who's ever millionaire has ever not lost it or has different stories of when they didn't always have it. So if we're keep chasing the achievements, we're missing the point of what sustains the relationship. And so then in regards to the question of the doctor, wouldn't a doctor want to marry a doctor? I think a better way to phrase it is, wouldn't, if you're very successful and driven and healthy, want someone who's also successful and driven and healthy? But there are many doctors who also finish their work and go to a strip club and snort cocaine. So you really want to look at who this person is in their character and their habits, not just their accolades and achievements.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. Go deeper. What I'm hearing is go deeper, right? Go deeper than surface level, right? The things on the outside are just they're cover-ups for what truly is what you're after. That's powerful, right? The health. Are you interested in this person because they live a healthy lifestyle? And I've seen that. I've seen what that looks like. I had a friend. She was dating a guy. She's super fit. She competes nationally and globally in those bodybuilder competitions. And she dated a guy for months, and he's a crackhead. And so I asked a question: why did you date that guy? You know, you two do not mesh. You do not blend well. She just wanted someone to go out with. And I'm like, what? You could have just gone out with you did not have to go out with a crackhead when you noticed this was not a match in the first place.
Yeah, but you have to look at what she's focusing on. Anyone who focuses on their body forgets their soul. And the only way that you can really have a sustainable, lasting relationship that's healthy is when you also remember you have a soul. Otherwise, you're just women are just cutting open up their breasts and putting in implants like 3 inches bigger. If my boobs protrude more, will you love me now? Like if I fill my lips up and they're a tiny bit more poofy, will you love me now? Am I now worthy of your love that I got this extension or whatever? And men also are constantly chasing things that they can change in order to perceive that they're worthy. But if you're focused on your body, you lost, without connection to your soul, then you've lost the key sustainability. Because again, that is what makes you you. It's what makes you unique. It's why you're worthy of love separate from your body, that is going to change and morph over time. And so for her, she was so focused on hurting herself. People who do weight competitions like that, bodybuilding competitions, there's significant amounts of abuse in it. It's not like I'm bodybuilding and I'm so healthy. A lot of the women lose their periods because they're eating so little. I mean, it's a very fucked up system, and there's a lot of psychological abuse, as well as unhealthy balance and a very strong removal away from living a loving life in connection to your soul, with way too much focus on your body. So it only makes sense that while she was looking so good and seeming so healthy, she attracted someone who was also not going to truly be there for her the same way she was also not truly being there for herself.
Ooh, ooh, that's good. That's good. I want to double back. I want to double back to
Yeah.
something you said earlier, and and I want you to help us to speak to the men. You
Yeah.
said provision, and you talked on the buzzword. It's a buzzword. Provision, provider. What is a provider?
For a man is someone who should be able to have financial stability, but financial stability is also a sign of emotional stability. If you, as a man or as a woman, but if you, as a man, don't know that a part of your job as a human being and as a potential spouse is to have financial stability, then again, you haven't realized your worth. Because to have financial stability means you believe that you have something that can positively impact the world, and you're going to have a discipline in yourself enough to go after that and create it. And you need that to also have a sustainable marriage and relationship. You need to know, the man needs to know that he's worthy, that he's capable, that he can have goals, that he can work hard to achieve them. And a big part of the opposite of that happening is he's not sober or spiritual. So a man who has like immorality or high levels of addiction, where he's drinking too much alcohol or pornography or pot, and has very low self-esteem, which it goes into that cycle of not being sober, will have difficulties maintaining and growing in financial stability. So financial stability is necessary for a man, but it's an extension and an application on top of his habits and behavior of what he believes he deserves and how hard he's willing to work for that.
Absolutely. I hear it all the time where couples sometimes acknowledge, right? They acknowledge that, hey, I'm the spender, he's the saver. I don't think those relationships are truly working. It works in the context of this relationship that you're having, but I can't build with someone who's constantly going to be spending all the money that I'm saving. Right? It's coming in and then it's going out the back door. To me, that's not sustainable and that's not healthy, because Murphy's law is going to show us that society is going to do something different. The economy is going to change. We're going to fall behind on this bill. We're going to have a medical emergency, and there's no savings because I dated a spender. I don't think that's sustainable, especially when when that financial stability, when we're looking for ultimately should be financial stability. Do you see couples where that say, "Oh, I'm just a spender. I'm just a natural spender." I don't think that's a good. I don't think that's a good partner for life.
I mean, again, it shows you the imbalance of impulsivity, as well as why are they in that relationship. If a woman, it goes back to the same thing. Like if the man thinks he's worthy of love because of his money, and the woman thinks that she's worthy of love, let's say because of her body, so they get together, he gets sex and she gets his money. And it's a very and but the thing is that again, it's not sustainable, because because then she is going to use his money in exchange for what she thinks she needs to give him or be for him, or attractive or hot or whatever it is. And so there's a lack of respect and there's a lack of soulful union. You need to have God in the picture between a man and a woman, or there's not enough of unification and growth towards similar values. So if you don't have enough respect for yourself and what you deserve and boundaries to protect that, you will attract someone who's going to cross your boundaries and disrespect you or your resources in that same way.
True. I see that. I can see it. I totally see it. Miss Garcia, y'all, spilling the tea on the Gentleman Style Podcast show today. I want to go into monogamy, right? That's the new monogamy and polyamory. Everybody, I feel like everybody's coming out now as polyamory. And let me be clear. I can see the economic benefits of it, right? I see the economics of it. Because the claim is, oh, it's not just about sex. I see there's an economic advantage because this was what is practiced traditionally in the old days, right? The farmer family, where the kids work the farm, the parents have all these kids, and everybody stays home, and they got the big house, and we all tend to the land, and we all tend to the land, we all grow our crops, and we live off the land. I see the economic benefits of everybody pulling their resources together, but I think some of it is like covered up and masked, like, oh, I'm a cheater, and I want multiple women, I want multiple partners, but I'm gonna call us polyamory. What are your thoughts on monogamous relationships? Is that a natural human instinct, or are we truly just poly? We're just a poly society.
I mean, it really also goes back to the fact that you have to be willing to believe you're deserving of love. Nobody wants to be abandoned and nobody wants to be cheated on. So if you really are believing that you deserve love, that comes with commitment and respect. And again, a lot of people lost that commitment and respect part. So, no man wants to see their woman with another man, and no woman wants to see their man with another woman. That is like inherently hardwired into our bodies, our minds, and our souls, because the truth is we want to grow and unify with someone. We don't want to have to feel like we are there as a booty call, or
Mhm,
as someone
mhm.
who's not really a priority. I think that's a really great word to use, their priority. The way that a woman can truly emotionally surrender to her husband is when she feels safe and trusting of him, and that she's his priority, that he really, really cares about her, and that his energy is focused on her in a way that's consistent and predictable. And so if you have a polyamorous relationship, you very much believe and have not healed your traumas, that you're deserving of true and committed love. Like, you believe still that there's a part of you that's okay being abandoned, that's okay being hurt, that's okay not being prioritized. And of course, it goes back to them not prioritizing themselves, abandoning themselves, et cetera, et cetera. But also in these polyamorous relationships, it's so important to remember that there's also a lot of drug use.
Mm.
There's also a lot of drug use, and it makes sense, because how can you stay in reality and in sobriety and unification with God and all of your blessings while the guy who says he loves you is having sex with her? Like, it's so deeply screwed up that you can't stay sober and also pretend you're totally okay with that. So polyamory is just another way that people are over sexualizing themselves, focusing more on their body than their soul, as well as not realizing that they are deserving of a committed, stable love.
I love that. I love that. That is good. That is necessary. I you remind me when I used to date. When I used to date, I people thought I was crazy because now it's the thing where it's like, oh, dating. I can date multiple people at the same time. I was always under the impression that if this is something that's going to be a long lasting relationship, it deserves my undivided attention. And so I only dated one at a time, right? I date you, I get to know you, I want to learn everything about you. And if what I see and learn about you doesn't fit, then then I end the courtship and then I move on. But so many people are like, Marcus, you're crazy. No, dating is I can see this girl on Tuesday, I can see a different girl on Wednesday, I can see a different girl on Thursday. I said that's crazy because I can't even focus that deep. I can't even pay attention to the girl on Tuesday or remember what her favorite color is or what the girl on Thursday's favorite meal is. I can't. That's too. And here's the kicker: if your intention is monogamy, to date, to be and marry one person, why are you developing a muscle? Why are you developing the habit of dating multiple people? If the goal is to be with one person, you're practicing a behavior that you cannot take into marriage. I need your help on this because too many people have beat me up for this mindset of being with one person and practicing dating one person. Should I date multiple people or should I date one at a time? What is dating?
Well, to answer your first question, it's and then I'll answer the second question. Like it's about a capacity to love. So a lot of men come from abusive homes where their mom wasn't very present for them or their dad wasn't very present for them. And you're a black man, and in black culture there's much more violence and much more harsh love and discipline. And so a lot of men were not grown up with love, like true love, like safe love, stable love, like I love you, and if you screw up I love you just as much. And we don't hit each other, we don't hurt each other, we don't curse at each other. Like, you are safe and I love you no matter what you do, I'm here for you. There's a lot of mental fornication with withdrawing of love if you do the wrong thing, even in white cultures. But with children growing up now, it's like, if you do the wrong thing, I'm going to punish you. You get a timeout. You get this. Like, I'm going to withdraw my love for you. And what that's doing is it's teaching the child that they're not really lovable. And so they don't have a large capacity to love themselves. And if you don't have a large capacity to love yourself, you do not have a large capacity to love another. So for someone who's really hurting and have not resolved their childhood traumas of what they went through, they don't have the love inside of themselves to commit and give to one woman. That is scary to them because they know that they can't commit to one woman. They don't have the love that she needs or that they feel that they have for themselves enough to even give away consistently. So there's this really unhealthy cyclical pattern of people not healing from the crap from what they've dealt with, that they have low deservability of their worth, a low capacity of love. And so these types of casual relationships are kind of what they can handle because they don't even feel ready to give all of themselves because they haven't learned how to have safe relationship with themselves. And so to heal that, they need to go back and rewire their brain that they're deserving and worthy of someone being there for them. Also, a man needs and wants a woman to be there for him consistently. A man needs and wants one woman to be there for him, not only for the sex, but for the love and connection and support and companionship consistently. There is no love, support, companionship, and deep understanding with casual relationships or just, F buddies or the next date. Like, it's just superficial. I'm worthy of attention, but not love. And it's a really unhealthy pattern that can and should be broken. And then in answer to your second question, what is dating? What real dating is I love myself enough that I have extra love to give to you. I don't abandon and hurt myself. I am sober and spiritual, and therefore I can handle the reality of giving to you. And I know what my vision is. And I know what I want my future to be like. And I'm just going to date you to see if you match the future that I also want to create. And I don't date you for a long time to hurt you or break your heart. I only date you with enough respect and honest communication to see if your vision and values match mine.
I don't actually have a mic to drop, but if I did, I would give it to Miss Garcia to drop it right now. That was really, really profound. And you're right. You're right. It's I think there's some scarring there, right? There's some damage there that was done because that's why I hear, oh, well, I gave my heart to her, this one girl, and she broke my heart. And so now it's just self-destructive. I'm gonna just date and date, and I'm not gonna be tied down to any one person because I gave my all to one person and they didn't choose me. They didn't pick me. They still chose someone else. In the example you gave earlier, they chose a high over you. That's heartbreaking. That hurts. You're gonna chase this drug versus the unconditional love I got right here for you, buddy. Like that's it. That's hurtful. That's hurtful. How did you bounce back from a heartbreak? How do people bounce back from heartbreaks?
You have to take full responsibility. I could have been like, he's an asshole. He's the addict. He left me for drugs. What's wrong with him? But it's not true. We attract people not based on what we want, but based on who we are. He was cheating on me with drugs, and I was cheating on myself with the falsity and the lies that he would ever change and be someone totally different than who he was when I met him for me. We were both in a non-truthful state of reality. I did not know how to love myself unconditionally. Otherwise, I would not have attracted someone like that. I knew how to love myself conditionally. If he loves me and he thinks I'm fantastic, then I am lovable and I think I'm kind of fantastic. If he leaves me and doesn't want me, then I'm scared as shit and I don't know if I can handle life because my love for myself is dependent on his love for me. That is a very unhealthy attraction, but that's the truth. I was not, once I healed or got to the understanding it, you can't get mad at someone for cheating on you because you attracted someone based on already who you are. So if they left you for another person, you already left yourself, not giving yourself the truth that this person wasn't right for you way from the get-go. And instead of seeing the signs that this person wasn't right for you and was going to hurt you and loving yourself enough in truth to walk away, you cheated on yourself by staying in a relationship that you knew was going to hurt you, but you didn't love yourself enough to walk away. And so again, we don't attract what we want. We attract who we are. So I'm not angry at the guy who chose drugs over me. I used it as an opportunity to see what belief systems do I have that I even attracted someone like that. And then I learned about the depths of codependency, which I was in at that time. Meaning, I was addicted to the highs and lows of a relationship, and he was addicted to the highs and lows of drugs, and we matched perfectly. But it wasn't he's bad and I'm good. We were both having wounds and unhealed traumas that synced beautifully. But until you heal those, you and love yourself unconditionally, you can't really attract someone who's going to do the same.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love what you're saying. What I'm hearing is, and you're saying it. You did something and have done the work and learned from your mistakes. I think we're not doing that. I think we're not learning from our mistakes. And it I was having this conversation with my co-host the other day. What people are doing is they're going from dead end relationship to dead end relationship, and they're not learning from the mistakes. When you think of a professional athlete and they lose the Super Bowl, they don't go and celebrate. But that's what we're doing. We lose the relationship, we lose our marriage, we lose our kids, our house, the mortgage, the finances, and then we go and we celebrate the divorce, we celebrate the loss, we celebrate the big. I'm gonna go to Cancun, Mexico, and celebrate with my girlfriends, or I'm gonna go out with the guys to uh, Dominican Republic, to DR, and go find some random woman and hook up. We're celebrating losing. That's not what you do. You take it, you learn from it, you go back and you look at what you did and you fix it. And then you try again. And you try now with the wisdom. That's what I'm hearing from you.
Yeah, no,
That's what
you're
I'm hearing.
100% right. Instead of taking responsibility, people blame. But going to Cancun, Mexico, or wherever, it's another way of facilitating pain. If you don't heal your pain, you just create more pain. So they might think they're celebrating, but they fully well know they're running away from the reality of the pain. And so many people I know speak, they say, "Oh, I just don't want to think about that. It hurt too much." Or like, "That was bothering me. So I just don't want to think about it." It's like, if you don't think about it, then you're abandoning yourself. No wonder you're attracting people who are going to abandon you. So 100% what you're saying, but it's still a blame that they were wrong. How could they do that? Versus an honest acknowledgement that we have full responsibility for what happens in our life. And not only do we have full responsibility for what we create, but we're the one creating it. If we don't learn, like what you said, how to look back in the past and say, how do I not have this happen again? Then by default, it's going to happen again. And going to Cancun or wherever, it's not so much a celebration versus a run. I am running away from my pain and myself. And this is just the only way I know best how.
Absolutely. Facts. Hashtag facts. Oh my gosh. This is huge. I wanna ask your opinion on this. I'm twisted and I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I'm gonna give you my opinion afterwards. Are you for or against dating apps in 2025, the year of our Lord? Are you for them or against them?
For or against, I don't know if I'm for or against dating apps. I think that you need to understand your worth and the signs of behavior in men who are healthy or unhealthy, whether you meet them at a bar, at Walmart, or a dating app. The signs of men who are unhealthy and looking for a quick whatever, or who are interested in your body and not your mind, or what you can give them instead of your soul. You can see those behaviors if you know what to look for, which is why I educate women as part of my practice. Again, whether you meet them in person or an app, do I think it's healthy that people swipe based on bodies and faces? No. But I know people who have met on apps that have healthy marriages. Is it the few and far between? 100%. But it's also a few and far between for people who meet in person to have healthy relationships. Because again, most people don't understand what the behaviors are of men who are just looking for companionship or sex versus connection and commitment. So I think it could be used for good, but it's like most things in life, just not honored and utilized in a holy way. But I'm not
Ab-
against it. I'm just like, it's just another source that I don't think is being used in its highest form, but it could be if a woman knows how to move away and protect herself in the right way.
Absolutely. Can you give us two? Can you give us one or two of what to look for in a partner, whether it be dating apps, whether it be so I'll give you one. One of mine is I think if you want to connect with someone, truly connect with someone, you should go and do the things that you enjoy. You're not going to connect with your partner staying at home. You're not going to connect with your partner going to the job. And if you're spiritual or religious, you're not churches are not enough to say I'm going to go to church and hopefully I find my Boaz there, right? You have to if you like archery, you need to go archering, and you could run into someone of the same mind because obviously you all met at doing something you both enjoy. Horseback riding, if you're into horseback riding, there's a higher probability of you making a connection with someone that's compatible to you because you're both found each other doing something you love, not at the bar, not out drinking, not at the club, right? Doing something you truly enjoy and is truly an expression of who you are. What can you give us two things to look for from your professional expertise that people can look for when they're dating or out in town to find true, genuine connections in a partner?
Well, I would say for the woman, look at how he speaks to you
Mm,
and what he says he wants. A man, if he's not looking to commit to you, will make it very clear that he's not going to pursue you. So if he's really just interested in sex or just a casual friendship or companionship, he will not pursue you. Which means after the first time, if you don't want to go to his, wherever with him and you say no, he's going to try for the next woman. You might think, oh, this is the guy that I've been waiting for. And then you text him, so are we going to hang out? Or what do you think? Or you want to meet me at this restaurant tonight? And he'll say, okay, but it wasn't coming from him. He didn't pursue you. A man who really is ready and wanting you will pursue you, will take action and communication and tell you, hey, I really like who you are and I'd like to take you on a date. And a key word here is date, not Netflix and chill, not hang out, not whatever. And even men at this day and age who are really ready for a date and a committed relationship will use different terminology and different behaviors than someone who's just looking for something casual. So for the woman, don't pursue. Look at what he says and look at what he does. And if his words align with his actions and make you feel safe and like a soul versus like body and anxious, then that's a good starting point.
What's a good date?
What's a good date?
Is Cheesecake Factory a good date? Is coffee a good date?
I would say anywhere you can observe his behavior. The best place would be anywhere you can observe his behavior around other women and men. So if you're alone in your apartment, you can't really observe how he's treating other women and men, right? Because you're alone. If you're alone at a park at night, you can observe how he's treating and looking at other women and men. A restaurant's great, coffee's great, anywhere where there's other people, so that if a very hot girl walks by in tiny little clothes, does he look at her while he's with you or not? Or does he notice and then just keep his eyes on you? These little things, if you know what to look for, are massive indicators of his moral character, and you don't need to wait 6 months to figure that out. So if he's nice to the waitress, or if he's like, okay, check please, thank you, or if he tips, or if he's grateful, or if he's impatient, if you're driving with him and he's so impatient or controlling, or where's the food already? Like, these are all massive indicators of his character, which you want to observe without trying to tell him what you want him to be, to see. So anywhere where there's other people around that you are, and for the man too, where you can actively observe how they are in relation to conflict, if the food's late, if there's a traffic light, if the concert doesn't work, whatever it is, but you're watching their reactions, which is giving you more than enough information to see truly who they are instead of just them telling you that they're fantastic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You said women should not pursue men. How does a woman attract a man if she's not pursuing them or showing her level of interest?
I mean, if he says, hey, I really want to go on a date with you, she can say, I'm interested or not interested.
Uh-huh.
Or
But
she can say,
you have to attract me to get me to say that. If you're not on my
why?
radar, I won't say that.
Well, what happens if you approach her, if you text her, if you message her?
So there are women not attracting men. They're not catching the eyes of the guy that they want. There's a guy at
Yeah,
your in some place that you like, but he's not noticing you. How do you
yeah,
get
because he's
that
not
person?
interested. He's
Okay.
not interested. If he's not noticing you, he's not interested in you. If he's wanting a girl and a woman in his life, he's going to look at the women in the room. If he's not ready to commit to a woman for long term because he doesn't have enough capacity in himself to give to her, he's not looking for a woman. He's waiting for a masculine woman who's needy and low worth to show up in his face. And then he will pursue or not pursue for however long based on that. But a man who is ready and wanting a woman and sees a woman that he really likes will go up to her, or will have a friend go up to her and be like, hey, what's your name? Would you like a drink? Whatever. But if a man isn't really comfortable in his worth and what he can provide and the fact that he's deserving of love, then he'll stay in his feminine zone and not approach a woman. But it is a man's job to approach a woman. It's not the woman's job to pursue the man. Does that make sense to you? I
I
know a
hear.
lot of men are accustomed to women being the aggressors now, but that's really not how it's meant to be. She can say, I'm interested or not,
Uh-huh.
or look at you back and continue the conversation or walk away. But if you don't show her you're at first looking and ready, like why should she eat? Why should she go over to you?
Mhm. Gotcha. Understood. Understood. It's interesting. It's interesting because it's a sea of us. There's a lot of men and there's a lot of women. And again, is I always think of business, right? And I always think of the person the road less traveled, right? You don't notice the person that looks like everybody else. You notice the one that's in bright yellow standing out from the crowd. There's a crowd of women to and so that's hard, right? That's hard if you're in a crowd of women who look just as good as you or look just like you or are in the same space. I gave the example of we're out doing archery. There's a ton of men and there's a ton of women that love archery. How do you get picked, right? Because there's a flock of you. It's not just one woman sitting there. It's not just one guy sitting there. So that's why
Well,
I brought up that question.
I mean, look, if a woman comes up to you and says, "Hey, Marcus, it's nice to see you," you will either be like, "Dang, I really like her." You will either be like, "Dang, I really like her energy and I like the way she looks. I'm going to continue this conversation."
Absolutely.
Or you're going to think, "I'm not so interested in the way she looks or her energy or the vibe she's giving me, and I'm going to look at the archery, whatever."
Mhm.
And so your behavior will immediately show her if she's looking, whether you're interested or not. And it's not her job to then keep walking over to you 20 minutes later or at the end of the night. It's not her job to walk over to you again and be like, "What about now? What about now?" And a lot of women still do that, even if they walk over once, which is not bad for them to walk over and say, "Hey, Marcus, it's so cool. It's such a nice day out," right? She's not being like, "Hey, you want to go on a date?" She's just like, "Hey, Marcus, it's a nice day," right? She came over to you. If you're interested in her, and then you see her an hour later, you're going to walk over to her.
Mhm.
But if you're not interested in her, you're not going to walk over to her. And it's not her job to walk over to you and be like, "Remember me from earlier? Do you want me now? How about now?" And so, still, a lot of women get that wrong, that they think there's like this necessary persistence to convince the man that she's actually worthy of being loved. It's very twisted.
I can see your point. I can see what you mean. This is good. Absolutely. So I love this topic around dating and relationships. Um, Traditional gender roles in dating has dating has changed dramatically from what I grew up on and what other people have grown up on. Um, is traditional dating roles and gender roles in dating has it evolved or merely adapted and disguised itself?
Has it evolved or merely disguised and adapted itself? I would think the latter.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I don't really think it's evolved. Women still want to be taken care of. Not every woman likes to stay home with her kids, but every woman who has a kid hates having their baby ripped from their arms at 6 weeks old to go into daycare, period.
Mm,
So, not everyone dreams of having a bunch of kids and staying at home and never working. And like, that's different. But the gender roles of a woman is feminine and a man is masculine, and a woman wants to be taken care of and a man wants to be taken care of, but just in different ways. I don't really think that's really evolved. I think there's just very much a powerful a powerful coming back too. Again, if a woman knows her worth, she wouldn't chase a man, she'd be feminine. And if a man knew his worth, he would feel safe approaching a woman that he really liked, because he would know that he can give to her and that he's worthy of being loved for who he is, not for how he looks or how much money he makes. And so we really still have to go back to, like, everyone needs to learn a lot more self-love and a lot more connection with themselves. But in regards to gender roles, I'm a big believer in gender roles. I think when women are safe in a relationship where the man is a provider and is stable and is emotional, and again, she could work or have babies. It's not about that. It's about it's about the dynamic where she's not pressured to be the breadwinner and the caretaker and also take care of the house and maybe have babies if she wants. I still think that's a really essential functionality of a sustainable, calm relationship.
mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to give the what is said, right. It's hard in 2025. It's harder to provide. It's harder to a man to be the sole breadwinner in a home. And so that's the common thing that I see on my social channels when I post a question about gender roles. Is in
I,
2020, back in the day when you could buy a house for $39,000. That is no longer the case, right?
I mean, yes and no. Yes, you're right. No, I don't believe in that personally. So it's like
Mhm.
I'm very into gender roles. I'm very also into God, so it's a component of it. But I also knew that I wanted to have kids, and there was no way ever that I was sending my baby at 6 weeks old to some random stranger to raise my infant. Like, fuck no, like, never happening. So I specifically looked for a man who had the ability to pay enough to pay the bills for me that I didn't have to work, even though I was working when I met him, so that I didn't have to. I think it's also about standards. I mean, I know it sounds a little selfish, but it's also about standards. And I truly believe, and I know this as an entrepreneur, there is no easier time in the history of the world to make $1 million. Like, it's so easy to make $1 million if you quit your 9 to 5. Like, the online markets these days in every niche is out of control. Out of control. You get free marketing with the insane amounts of organic social media. I mean, people are online all the time. The coaching's online, the healing marketing, the sales, the businesses, the food, the shopping, the clothes, whatever your dream and your passion is, it is the easiest time in the history if you learn the correct skills and discipline to create a business that far exceeds what you can make in a 9 to 5. I think you have to have the balls to quit your 9 to 5 and work hard. That's a different story. But I think women should have the standard that a man could be able to provide for her and for her alone if she's in her child rearing years and wants to have babies and not have the financial constraints of taking her kids to childcare.
Mhm. Absolutely. Understood. Understood. I want to ask, have you ever dated a narcissist?
Yeah, one time I dated a narcissist, and it was a very fascinating experience because they're very subtly kind and charming. They very much seem like what they say about narcissists, that they're like very charming and they everything you think that you wanted. Um, but it actually was a beautiful moment for me because when I broke up with him, when I dated him, I was already in a really good place. So I already had mentors and I already knew myself pretty well. But the subtle manipulations of a narcissist was new to me. But I had mentors who were very much on my side and said, "Hey, just so you know, this sounds like narcissism." And so only after like a few months of dating him did I get out of it. But yeah, it's scary. Narcissists are so powerfully manipulative. But again, if you know the signs, which is now part of my company, why I educate women, if you know the signs from the get go, they're very easy to see from date one.
Mhm. What's a sign of a narcissist for those watching who may not know? Because you said you didn't know, but you had mentors guiding you and telling you, "Hey, these are the flags." So what's one
Guess what
what's
we got?
it's a
Guess what
family
we
show, y'all. What's a
Is that
sign of a
Sam?
narcissist?
got?
Guys,
Slime.
wow.
And you're gonna see a pretty
Okay,
card.
I'm on a podcast. Do you want to do your affirmations?
And this is mine.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Yeah, can you go downstairs to Tati? Go downstairs to Tati, okay? Because I'm on a podcast now. Unless you want to do your affirmations, which you could. You want to?
Who is
Yes or no? I have to go.
No, but
Okay.
here.
I'm on a podcast. You can say you want yeah. All right, cuties. Go show Daddy he's downstairs. So one of the signs of a narcissist is they say things like, I wasn't really attracted to you when we first met, but now I am attracted to you.
Ouch.
So they do things that sound nice, like, oh, now you're attracted to me. That's fantastic. But they're very big into mental fornication. So they'll do push and pulls of like, oh, when I first met you, I didn't think it was going to work out, but now I'm so glad it is. Or oh, it is working out, but I'm not sure this is going to last very long. So they'll constantly do these very, very, very subtle signs of communication that give you push and pulls that kind of make your brain physiologically addicted to the positive reinforcements. They have very low self-esteem and they do not talk about their feelings, but they do talk about their accomplishments or their goals. So if you're listening on the first date and you're observing, like I teach my clients, just listen. They don't say, I am feeling sad, I am feeling angry, I'm feeling mad, I'm feeling hurt. They're like, I want to create X, Y, and Z. And the politics, they're always outside of themselves, the politics, the war, this, I don't know, their job, the boss, the person on the street who should have known better. They're very, very much disconnected from themselves and their feelings. And so even though they can have smooth conversations, it's never attached to who they are. And they're not really interested in you. They're just really interested in what you can give them. And they also make that pretty clear from the beginning. And the other thing is you don't feel calm, you feel more anxious or excited. So a healthy relationship, you feel very much like if you hung out with your mom, it's not very exciting, it's more comforting and calm. Let's say you had a healthy mom.
Yeah.
You're not like, holy shit, I'm gonna meet my mom. I'm so excited. I'm gonna buy a new dress. With a narcissist, you're like, oh my God, I have to get new shoes. It's going to be amazing. And so there's these really emotional highs and lows that come into play versus a safe, calm sense of stability. And so if you know to look for that and you check in with your emotions and your nervous system after the date, you can really, really see how you feel in relation to this person versus the hope of wanting it to be real.
Absolutely. I want to ask this question. Are you a high value woman? Did you only date high value men?
Yeah, of course. I mean, not always, not always. When I dated the addict, I was a pretend high achiever. I had a master's degree, I had the bachelor's degree, I had the house, I was fit, I had money and a job and everything that society tells you. But I was pretty sick in my head in regards to not knowing how to love myself. And so I dated a low value man. I dated someone who was 7 years younger, who was just starting his bachelor's degree. I had finished my master's on high honors and owned my own car. And I dated someone who at the time was like 20, I was like 26 and he was 7 years younger. So like what, 19? Who was 19 turning 20 and was snorting ketamine and was just starting his bachelor's degree. So, when my worth increased and my honesty of who I am and how much I love myself increased, then the type of men I dated increased. And once I got to that healthy place, then I only was very, very, very selective that like if you smoke pot, no interest. If you have issues with alcohol, porn, money, no interest. Because I was already on a much more stable, honest level of self-love and what I'm worth. But that's only where I was before I dated, my husband. Before that, when I was on my journey, when I was very much into what society teaches you is successful, before I redefined it all and learned a lot of the truths in life versus the falsities that society teaches you, my idea was high. He was loving and kind and sweet. He never hurt me. He was very affectionate and a wonderful person. But he was totally unavailable because I was totally unavailable for myself. So of course he'd be unavailable for me, So it matches as you grow. You don't attract what you want, you attract who you are.
You mean like you were too busy professionally to notice all the love and the nurturing? Like what when you say you
With
weren't
him,
available? Yeah, you say you weren't
I
available.
wasn't emotionally unavailable for myself. No, in honesty, every time I felt an emotion that was negative, I would criticize myself and be hard on myself. So American society teaches you to be very, very hard on yourself. You have to get more grades. You have to make more money. You have to be hotter. You have to be skinnier. You have to be this. You have to be more, 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 more. So what that teaches you is to always feel like you're never enough and be very, very hard on yourself to actually feel deserving, which means I was not emotionally available for me. Like I didn't love me. I didn't know how to accept myself as is. I didn't know how to process anger. I didn't feel my anger. I just brushed it away. I didn't know how to feel my feelings and process them in a way where I can learn from them instead of just covering them over and moving to the next thing. So I was always in relationships that I would focus on them and the relationship instead of me and what my true needs were. And that was an addictive cycle that I was in. And of course, then I would attract addicts. But once I learned how to break that, then it all broke and I attracted totally different people. But until you learn how sick you are, because again, you can be so successful and very, very ill, and no one will ever know except you based on how happy you are, truthfully, at the end of the day. Until you get honest with your happiness levels and your how safe you feel with yourself and God levels, you can't really move to that. So I was unemotionally available for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you for expounding on that. Thank you for breaking that down. I wanna get you out here on this. I love these topics. Again, relationships is my bag. Is it okay? I'm laughing because I've done this. Is it okay to ever ghost someone? And what does ghosting reveal about the ghoster?
I mean, I think that you have to know that it's very much important to block people who are no longer serving you. What I say in the beginning of that is just tell them, hey, John, think you're a great person, but this relationship isn't working out for me. It's not the vision that I want for the future. I only wish you the very best. I'm going to block you to protect myself because I don't see the communication going anywhere that's beneficial for me. I wish you all the best. And then you block him. And the same thing with the girl. Hey, Julie, I think you're a really great person. I don't think you're right for me, for my future. I have no issues or heart, anger against you. I wish you the very best. I'm going to block you to protect myself from getting caught up in this relationship, and I wish you only good. And then you block her. Now she's not fucking confused. She knows you're not interested and that she has no access to you anymore. So I think it's a very mature thing to create healthy boundaries with people who are not right for you anymore. But you do that in a way where you just communicate in the beginning that you're going to block them without drama, or I'm blocking you because you're a cheater and a loser and I hate you and you're a shithead and I'm blocking you, right? And now you, whether or not you block them, you
Right.
created drama and attachment. They're still attached to you because now they feel guilty or confused or whatever. That's not healthy. You block them with calm because you love yourself and you explain it and you end it. You don't do drama.
Do I owe you that? Do I owe, like, let's say you said you only dated the one guy for like a month or two. Do you owe that guy a true explanation as to why this conversation has died? It's not going anywhere. You're not doing or speaking to the things that I see in my future. Like, do you owe someone that?
No, you only use your effort, energy, and communication if you want to work on the relationship. So if I wanted to continue a relationship with you, Marcus, but I didn't like how you commented on X, I would say, "Hey, Marcus, just so you know, I don't like that you commented on X," and you'd be like, "Okay, Chaya, okay, da, da. We're working together towards something, so I'm using my energy, effort, and communication to let you know because I want to build with you." But if this person, Julie, has no interest in ever building with John, it's irrelevant what he did wrong. It's not a form of communication to be like, well, John, I really needed someone who was going to not look at other women in their bikinis, and you did, and I just won this, and like, for what reason? Like, so he doesn't. So if he responds, are you going to get back together with John? I don't, that's the only way that you would use your energy, effort, and communication if you're trying to work on the relationship, to work out kinks, to grow with them. But if you've decided that this isn't your person, that this isn't your level of life, that they're not your highest potential of love, and you don't want them in your life, you don't need to go into the details of why it's not working out. You just wish them the very, very best. You clearly tell them you're blocking them so they're not confused why you don't answer your phone, and you block him, and you love yourself and you forgive yourself, and you say, I rather not hurt myself than hurt him. And you take ownership of your life with strength instead of victimhood.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love this. I love this. Miss Garcia, you are phenomenal. This has been an epic conversation. I truly enjoyed your time, your spirit, your wisdom, your knowledge, your insight. This has been incredible.
Thank you so much, Marcus.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This train has left the station. You announced that you are going global. How can people connect with you? How can people learn? How can people get involved with your course, your teachings, and learn more and to discover that narcissist in their life and be mentored by you and your team?
I love that. So if you guys are interested, you can send me a DM on Epic Love Expert. That is my handle for everything, Epic Love Expert. Um, and if you want to book a call, you can go with connectwithchaya.com. My name, Chaya, is spelled Chaya, and that is literally my calendar link directly to set up a call with me. And then we do really phenomenal master classes. The next master class is actually tomorrow. I don't know when this is going to go live, but it's every Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do master classes. And so you can register that for free at epiclovemasterclass.com. That's epiclovemasterclass.com. And you can register for the free webinar then every Thursday at 12 and get into our system, connect with me, and have options for different resources and programs to coach you to attract your highest potential of love.
Absolutely. What should I bring to the masterclass or that coaching session? What should I have ready before booking that appointment?
The idea that if you don't invest in yourself, no one else is going to. The same way that you would want someone to invest in you with your time, your money, your energy, your effort, and your intention, you need to be willing to do that for yourself. Coaching isn't free. My time isn't. You aren't, and you deserve more. But if you don't have the intention that you want to bring income into your life, money, wealth, health, relationships, then I can only give you so much, but you can't go to that next level until you realize that you need to invest in yourself with your resources to actually go to those next levels. Like what you were saying, every successful person in sports has a coach. Like you need someone who is in the area of expertise where you want to be. And I have a phenomenal marriage. And as you know, my story, it didn't just come overnight. I worked to attract it. And I have an amazing marriage and home now. So you have to just come with the intention that you deserve investment of your time, your energy, your love, your money, your resources, so that you don't feel so comfortable giving it out always to other people who you love, but first it comes and into you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Powerful, powerful, powerful. I love it. Connect. You all got to get connected. We are out of time, y'all. We got to let this incredible woman go. She has many more lives to change, many more people to impact, and many more people to influence and help save relationships in dating. Like we end every show. Take care of your friends, take care of your family, and always, take care of business. This is Marcus, your favorite gentleman, and the super fragile espialidocious, Miss Chaya Garcia, signing off. Love you guys. Bye.